Dr. Joe Connor, welcome to the Swine Hall of Fame.
Thanks, Jim. It's an honor for me.
Now, you've got a storied career in the pork industry. Can you share a little bit about your journey from the beginning?
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey, Jim. I was actually recruited to come to Western Illinois, where I'm located yet today, by two swine producers that felt there was a need for more focus on swine medicine and swine production. And I took them up on that offer, and that turned out to be quite good as it started my career.
What have you learned the most?
We're always in a time of change. And as I think back through this journey, I feel that I was actually quite privileged to be involved in our industry during a time of transformation from outside confinement to inside production. And that really fit the interests that I had and some of the skills that I had to interact with many different producers.
What about a mentor? Was there a few mentors along the way, Joe?
I had so many mentors that I can't name them all, but some that come to mind, and I was quite fortunate that there was a peer group that started as swine consultancy started, and that peer group was led by Al Lehman, and in that group were veterinarians such as Kent Kissenberry, Jim Dick, Steve Henry, Ralph Vincent, Mike Wilson, Dale Hendrickson. And one characteristic that Al was always very good at, and that was challenging us. And in that peer group, he would also invite a university staff member, university researcher. And what we did is we generally spent a weekend critiquing a producer, going through the facilities, and then discussing what changes we would make, recommendations we would make. And it was really an eye-opener for me in that it provided a lot of challenges and allowed me to really think about how we should start moving to different production systems and different methodologies.
Would you do anything differently, Joe?
No, I don't think I would. Being part of this industry as we transformed, early on, I was asked to do work by Dr. Hank Harris, and that got me in contact with Dr. Tom Alexander. And we had two producers that quickly took on medicated early weaning, and we could see some of the advantages as we thought through how to better control diseases. And then that led to segregated production that Dr. Harris was working on. And then that led to wean to finish technology. And we just continued to transition in as our industry changed and as our producers grew and modernized. You know, at the same time, Al Lehman introduced us to the European genetics, said there was a different lines that we should look at that would increase production and make us more competitive, both domestically and on the globally. And we saw our producers take up on that technology.
We touched a little bit on mentors. What about people you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank the mentors we've already talked. Additional ones that come to mind is the late Dr. Roy Schultz, who just recently passed away. He had asked me to work with him on several of the systems that he consulted with, and that actually opened up my eyes in terms of how he interacted with middle and senior management within those systems. And that trickled down then to other clients that I work with.
Is there a standout memory that you have or achievement?
One that stands out that kind of links what we do globally as well as domestically is when PED entered the United States. I happened to be on a call asked to be on a call from the case in Indiana and the case in Colorado that was occurring at that same time. And because of experience we'd had globally, we were able to put PED as one of the rule outs, and then shortly after that had confirmation. And then that also started raising the questions of how would two cases be geographically separated, break at almost the same time. And so then started generating some of those research questions that others have really pushed forward for industry.
What's the key to longevity?
Enjoy what you're doing, have good clients, have clients that want to challenge veterinarians such as myself, and have curiosity about the technology that is evolving and how that might fit into each and every producer, no matter what size that producer is.
Is there any other teaching moments you can share, Joe?
It is about lifetime learning. If I look back on my career through University of Illinois, University of Minnesota, Executive Veterinary Program, University of Illinois, those all added building blocks onto opportunities that I could provide to our clients.
Now, just going back to the Joe Connor story a little bit, you were involved in turkeys, is that right?
Yeah, I was enjoyed agriculture from shortly after I was born. And we, at that time, as many producers did, had a multitude of species, from dairy cows to pigs to beef cattle to chickens, and then a period of time when we raised turkeys as well.
And then you eventually got into the pork industry. Now, what about your international experience? I know you're renowned for that. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Joe?
That evolved out of the same technologies that we were transforming here in the US. So medicated early weaning, segregated production, new facilities, more recently filtration. I had the opportunity to work with a number of producers outside the US that wanted to see that same type of transformation.
Now, what about like a key or untold story? I know you're famous for being up early, always answering customer inquiries. Is there anything else we need to know, Joe?
One of the things that is quite an honor for me is that I'm a honorary member of the Japanese Association of Swine Veterinarians, and I think the only honorary member to date, because of my long-term interaction and producers that have come to visit us here.
Now, we're going to wrap on this question, Joe. I know everybody is flooded with happiness about you being a part of this Hall of Fame. As we look at continued success in the swine industry, how does the next Joe Connor position themselves for long-term success?
One of the things we haven't talked about, Jim, is the transformation that's occurred diagnostically and in data management. So as I think about the next Joe Connor, I think it's about the ability to use the tools that are developing and have developed over the last 10 years, and then how to incorporate them both in proactive and retrospective analysis of data.
So we've got got a bright future ahead, Joe. Really appreciate you joining us and all your contributions to the swine industry.
Thanks to you, Jim, and I'm quite humbled to be part of the Swine Web Hall of Fame, and I'm particularly humbled to be in the same mention as the great Bill Prestige.
Dr. Joe Connor, congratulations.
Thank you.